Hi, welcome to another edition of Rams, Rants and Reviews. And today I'm going to give my take on the footage of the van that was at the Spread Creek campground and my opinion of what I believe what happened at that scene, at that van, and hopefully people can look into it and put their intake and think what they kind of think might have happened. But I'm going to review a video that was originally posted by Red, White and Bethune, and apparently it was taken on August the 27th, so around 6:30 p.m. So without a further ado, we'll get into the video, and along the way I'll stop off and give my criticism, or sorry, that's the wrong word, and give my take on what I think is going on at that time. Okay, let's go. Okay, as you can see right now in the video, the guys slowed the video down and you can clearly see that the van door is closing as he approaches. Like, it would have been nice if he was just there maybe 30 seconds earlier, and then he could have probably caught on camera who actually was getting into the van at that time. But he's showing it again, and as you can clearly see that it is not a tree or anything, as it does end kind of at the bumper. Let me forward through a little bit more. And as he comes around, you can clearly see the thing, and as here in the clear photos, he's going to pause it too right here. You do kind of notice Gabby's slipper, which is right basically there. So that tells me, in my opinion, that she was getting into the van at that time. Because my take on this, how I'm seeing this, I'm just going to pause the video here for a few moments, is that she had OCD. That's what she told the police in the video, that she suffers from obsessive compulsive disorder. So, and she kind of liked the space van clean or something like that. So for her slipper to be outside the van before, as she's kind of getting in, kind of makes sense that she would get in and not take any dirt or any dust, anything dirty that would dirty her space where she would either sleep or make breakfast or do whatever inside her home in the van. Alright, now let's continue with the video. I'll just forward the video a little bit more, and you can tell in the video that it is that definitely their van, as you can see by the hat on the front seat. And these are the guys, Red, White and Bethune, who actually posted the video, and he's going to do another analysis right there for the front of the van, which there really you can't see too much of the van, but you can see Gabby's hat was in the van, and you really can't see anybody else in the van at that time because somebody got into the van at the back through the doors. I'll forward a bit more. So this is basically, I believe, the van. They're showing the van again with the door open right now as it is, and you can clearly see, if you pause it, that there is nothing there that continues that line to the ground. It basically ends at the bumper of the van, so you definitely can tell the door was closing. It just so happens to be we could not tell who got into the van at that time. But I truly believe in my heart it was Gabby Petito, sorry, I do apologize. Gabby Petito that got into the van at that time, just because the evidence to me shows she left her sandals outside the van while stepping in. Let's continue on with this video. A little more. And it's the van with the door open again. He's just going frame by frame. As you can see, as he approaches it closer, it just slams shut. So I believe this is a video at full speed, but you can just barely tell the van door was closing. So I came up with two theories about what I think happened at the scene and what kind of transpired to the death of Gabby. My first scenario that I kind of came up with, let me just get my notes here. Sorry about that, I do apologize. I've got so many notes, I've been following this like crazy in this case. I think what happened was, after they came back from Jackson of having their dinner at that restaurant that was, someone said that they were seen arguing and fighting in Jackson, because that was around 1 p.m. or something. I think they probably drove back into this spot here, and I think the argument continued on, and something happened either in the van, which I believe Gabby went into the van at the back, stepped into the van, either not knowing he was in the van at the back waiting for her, or the other thing was, my other opinion, I think what happened could have been where her body was found. They probably said, well, he probably said to her, or they probably agreed, maybe we'll go for a walk, cool themselves down, and went for a walk into that area where her body was found, and the argument ensued again, and something happened where he ended up killing Gabby, or much worse, or something like that, what I think happened. And then that way, because I believe, because there's no way he could have done something in the van to her and dragged her body out 900 yards out to that Spread Creek where the body was located. So I think the crime scene actually happened there, and when he realized what he had done, I think he ended up going for the hike through Spread Creek and whichever way to come back around to the van. This is where you get those eyewitnesses of him being picked up and him being hitchhiking and coming back around back to the van around the 29th. So when he got back, he just took off in the van because Gabby was already out of the van. He didn't have time. He didn't need time to dispose of her in the creek. So that's my opinion. I think that's what happened. Or the other thing is, he did do the crime, appeared in the van, and he tried to drag her out, but I don't think that's possible without anybody seeing anything, unless he dragged the body out at night time when there is nobody around. But even then, you're still not sure which way to go or where, how far you are from the van or something like that. So I believe the latter one. I think he actually done the seen the crime at where they did find the body, just because they probably went for a hike and something happened again, and that's where it was. And he made it look like that when he went for the walk, and that when he was picked up hitchhiking, he told the girl, Miranda, I believe her name was, that his girlfriend was back at the van working on the blog for their YouTube videos, which kind of made sense at that time, because the van was still parked in the same spot, and I don't believe it was abandoned. Like some people came up with the van was abandoned there for 2 days or whatever. I don't think it was abandoned, because when you go camping, you can leave your van parked there and go out in the bush, do some activities and hunting or whatever, fishing. So in that case, in that scenario, that's what I think it was, to cover his tracks. So when he did see people along the way, he can say, well, I was hitchhiking, I went for a hike in the mountains, and then I made my way around to Jackson, and then back from there, hitchhiked, and then came back to the van, and then he drove off to Florida. So give me your guys' take, what you guys think, if you guys agree with me, or if you have better points or certain points that I kind of missed on that and stuff like that. Maybe let me know in some comments or something, and I'll see if I can do some more research, look into that. But that's where I truly believe why it happened, because there's no evidence of his shoes being there, or he's being inside the van or anything like that. That's why I just see Gabby's slipper, sandal, which I believe is hers, and I believe she did get into that van at that moment when the camera footage is showing. Like I said, we just missed who got in, but from that evidence shows that she got into the van. Either she was cleaning the van or making it nice or whatever, and he's surprised and just said, let's go for a walk, and that's when the scenario happened, I believe. So yep, that's my take on this one, and that's what I believe. I think that's how the crime was perpetrated, and that gave him a alibi. People saw me hiking here and traveling and hitchhiking back to the van, so that way he could cover his tracks and say, well, I left her at the van, she was doing the blog, and oh my god, I came back and she's not there. But still doesn't add up to like why you wouldn't call the police if you went for a hike and came back and your girlfriend, fiance is missing and nowhere to be seen. That's the first thing I would do. I'm going to call the police, like, what's going on? She's not here. So that adds more to the suspicion that he is guilty. And like I said in my last video, he 100% is guilty of the crime. So without further ado, I'm going to say thank you for listening, and hopefully you enjoyed the video, and hopefully you got some points. Thank you very much.